Was the earth created in 7 days? No. For those of you who believe it was, for you Christians, let me tell you, then you do not understand the Jewish people. We Jews understand that it did not take place in 7 days, and that's because we know what we're good at. And what we're really good at is bullshit. This is a wonderful story that was told to the people in the desert in order to distract them from the fact that they did not have air conditioning. I would love to have the faith to believe that it took place in 7 days, but I have thoughts. And that can really fuck up the faith thing. Just ask any Catholic priest. And then there are fossils. Whenever anybody tries to tell me that they believe it took place in 7 days, I reach for a fossil and go, fossil. And if they keep talking, I throw it just over their head. He said, fossils are the handiwork of the devil. I had to remind myself to breathe. I had been tasered by the concept of the devil. Something that I did not quite understand. Apparently the devil is like Wile E. Coyote, only he is evil, and he has a factory where he makes fossils. And he sends his minions to scatter them across the earth every day in order to confuse. There are people who believe that dinosaurs and men lived together, that they roamed the earth at the same time. There are museums that children go to in which they build dioramas to show them this. And what this is, purely and simply, is a clinical psychotic reaction. They are crazy. They are stone cold fuck nuts. I can't be kind about this because these people are watching the Flintstones as if it were a documentary. Evolution is a major thread in the larger tapestry that I like to call reality. When it comes to evolution, the jury's still out. What jury where? The Scopes trial is over. I never thought that during the course of my life that a president would be elected who didn't believe in evolution. He believes that the earth was created in 7 days. Whew. Takes my breath away. And why does he believe that? Because he read it in the Old Testament. And that book wasn't good enough for you Christians, was it? He went, no, we've got a better book with a better character. You're going to love him. And you called your book new and said our book was old. And yet every Sunday, I turn on the television set. And there's a priest or a pastor reading from my book and interpreting it. And their interpretations are usually wrong. It's not their fault, because it's not their book. You never see a rabbi on TV interpreting the New Testament, do you? If you want to truly understand the Old Testament, if there's something you don't quite get, there are Jews who walk among you. And they, I promise you this, will take time out of their very Jewy day and interpret for you anything that you're having trouble understanding, and we will do that if, of course, the price is right. There is a big difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament, and that is the New Testament God is really kind of a great guy. He is, especially when you compare him to the Old Testament God, who is a prick. I don't know what happened to God, over time, how he matured, if he went to an anger management class, or maybe just the birth of a son calmed him down. But before he had the kid, Holy fuck, he was out of control. All you got to do is read the Old Testament. It's unbelievable. Look at Abraham, the first man to have faith in one God. And what does God do? Hey, Abraham, come here. Come here. Bring your kids. Let's barbecue them. Moses spends his life, crosses the desert with them, 40 years devoting to his people to get them out of Egypt, across the desert to the promised land. And God goes, hey, Mo, you're not getting in. Kiss my ass. The reason that the Old Testament God is a prick was because the Old Testament is designed as a book to get the Jews to straighten up and fucking fly right. Because they were out of control. They were 10 hairs away from being baboons. They needed rules. They needed to know that marriage takes place between a man and a woman. Because they were wandering into camp with camels going, I'm in love. I don't give a shit what you are. You can't marry a snapping turtle, asshole. Because apparently we heterosexuals have reached a point we're so fucked up that we better write it down in case we forget who we're supposed to marry. It's unbelievable. It's in the book already. What, do you need to print it? Are you crazy?
There's a reason that that was written in the Bible, because it was written thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago when we were savages at best. We were like 10 hairs away from being a baboon. And you had to control. I mean, these people were out of control, and so the elders of the village, got together and came up with the idea of a God. And not the Christian God, who's kind of a loving God and a sweet God. No, we had a God that was, I can see everything you do, and I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. Not really a happy God, kind of a God who seemed to be a raging alcoholic. And that's what they had to come up with. They had to come up with this mythical figure, that was present and that could keep these people in line, because they were crazy. That's the way God is. God is everywhere, and He sees everything you do. And if you fuck up, He knows it, and He will smote you.